pleasure of working with Clarence since he started. So at the time, I was an ICU nurse back in the day. And I think the first time I met Clarence was when he came out into the unit, and we were in there, and we were going to put an assist device in the ICU, and at the time it was an ECMO, and we were going to thermally cannulate, and he looked around the curtain, and he said, "What are you doing?" "Well, we're going to put an ECMO in this patient." "Why?" "Well, I could call the surgeon for you, but that's fact, and we're ready to go, and we're just waiting on you." But I would agree with what everybody else had to say. Anytime, so I worked for many years in the ICU, the cardiothoracic surgery ICU. I've had the pleasure of working with CT for quite some time, and it's always been quite an honor. But to see Clarence walk out, I would echo what everybody else had to say as well, is you knew things were going to go okay, no matter what you were doing in the unit. If the OR was on their way in, it was still going to be okay because you started having pieces of it filter out. And Clarence was certainly one of those very big pieces that was a part of our team, a part of our family, like Dr. Zanaboni said, and just a part of our fabric. He's been a grounding force. I've had the pleasure of working with him since he started. I remember when his kids were born because they're about the same age as ours. I remember the baby showers. I remember when my daughter wouldn't sleep, he made us a piano tape, and my daughter would sleep to that every night for the first year of her life. We still have that tape. It is a cassette tape. For those of you that don't know what it is, I really we had the pleasure of, through the course of time, going to the perfusion meetings. Scott's worked with him quite a while. And we would get to hear him play at the perfusion meetings. He was always a hot request to be there to play his piano and share his music with all of those. Clarence was certainly passionate. He was about people. He was about the patients. I agree. There's so many people that benefited from him, his knowledge, his wisdom, his care. What I will remember in the unit or the ORs is just steadfast course. What I remember from the hallways is we caught up on family, and then he grounded me about how the hospital should be run. And that was okay, because he had words of wisdom, and he had wisdom for all of us. His words still echo to this day. I just met with somebody earlier today, and they said, the person who was at the meeting, I think his name was Clarence, he's so on target, and he just knows the right things. And that was Clarence, and he was really a piece of our fabric that will always be a piece of our fabric. We will never forget him. The ORs have had this hanging since the time that we found out. We were stunned. It still feels unbelievable. I'm pretty sure he is coming back from vacation, but he will always be a piece and part of us. My deepest condolences to all of you. He was such a